Okay, so my fabric is ready. I know the tension is right because when I press down in the middle I can't touch the table. If your fabric is too loose, either remove the hoop or just gently pull on the sides of the fabric. Okay, so on the pattern you will see there are all these lines printed. Okay, so all these sort of scattered lines are sort of your guideline for this colour. So what we'll do, we'll simply go over them with our thread, covering every single one, simply following what's printed on the fabric. So I'm using 2 strands because I find just looks a bit nicer, but you can use 3. And then we will simply go over every line that's printed on the little face and also on the ear and the little belly. So moved on to the tummy area, and here again I'm doing exactly the same thing. This bit's even quicker because it's nice longer strokes, so the space is filled a bit quicker. And after I finish, excuse my phone, and after I finish covering the lines, actually before we go to the cream colour we just have to do the little nose and the eye and the mouth. So I'm using 2 strands again, just following the outline again. It will make it a little bit easier when we go to the sort of the cream colour. Just makes it easier to see where you need to stop. So, and then at the end, once you've finished, if the black thread is a little bit covered with all the other colours, you can easily go over it to make it a little bit more visible, to make it stand out a little bit more, if that's what you'd like to do. Just do the eye. Okay, so I move to the side. So I'm almost going in a circle motion. And just find it easier that way rather than going down. So first I will do probably about 2 sort of rows of these cream stitches, and then I'll start going sort of down. Just makes it a little bit easier, I find. So I'm just sort of going in between the darker stitches. I'm not starting at the same point, sort of starting in the middle. So we've got the 2 darker stitches, I'm starting in the middle rather than at the same point. I just find, again, I just prefer the way it looks. So keeping them sort of the same length as the darker ones, just not starting at the same point, right? So keeping the same direction as the previous ones, using them as a guideline. will come together nice and easily and quite quickly, because you can use much longer strokes. The fur will be naturally much longer around this area, so unlike on the face where you want to keep nice short stitches, on the body you can go for much longer ones. So I'm just finishing the ear now, and all I'm doing is adding a few strokes. I'm using the light cream colour, just going in between the darker thread, but I'm not going to fill the space completely. So if you want to add a few more stitches to it, go ahead. I'm just going to leave it like this. Okay, so I have 3 strands here of the white colour, and I'll start here. So we'll be doing a satin stitch. Keep our stitches nice and close together. So while I still have the white thread, I'm going to do this little pom-pom at the end of the hat, and I will be doing it in French knots. I think it will look really lovely in a satin stitch as well, but I absolutely love doing the French knots, so I like to add them to every embroidery. So you know, you could also do a chain stitch. Many options. So I will do the French knots. If you haven't done them before, just wrap the thread around your needle twice, and then go in just next to the point where you came from, and that's all I'll be doing. So I'll go around, and then I'll be filling the space in the middle, so it will be completely filled with loads of French knots. Okay, so the red part of the hat I'll complete in chain stitch. I'm using 3 strands in here. 2 will be fine as well, but when I was doing my sample I did 3 and I liked the way it looked. So again, if you haven't done chain stitch before, just create a loop, hold it down with your thumb and go in and out. Keep your thread quite short. I keep saying it in my videos, but it's quite important, because if your thread is really long it will get tangled and it will drive you insane. So I think you are better off threading it more often than having a really long thread that will get tangled and knotted all the time. So again, loop, hold it down with your thumb. Okay, so I'll do an outline. I'll go this way and then up, and then I'll just carry on doing that until I fill the whole space. So here I'm just using a simple backstitch, and I'm going to outline the whole box. I'm using 3 strands and just a simple backstitch. So okay, so next up we've got a green thread, again 3 strands, and I'm just going to follow the outline again. The berries are done in French knots. Okay, so for the writing I'm doing a simple backstitch, and the easiest way to do it, for me at least, is do sort of this inner part and then the outer part and fill in the gap. So sometimes you'll end up having, you know, 3 sort of lines of stitches, and sometimes 4. For me it was just 3, so all I'm doing is I'll go down then I do the outer part and then I'll fill in the gap. And this writing is not that big. It's a 6-inch hoop, so I guess you don't need to do it this way, but if you're doing something that's much bigger and your font is really large, then doing it this way is really handy. So the writing is finished. Now I'm adding snowflakes and French knots just to fill the space.